Right, what is going on, my friend? This is Jake with JG Calisthenics. So, of course, obviously, as my skinny fat videos recently have been very popular for you guys of what you want to see in the future, obviously, a common question that I get from subscribers, you guys, and also from clients as well when they reach out to work with me is obviously, how does one actually, lose fat when overcoming skinny fat without actually getting skinny, right? And honestly, this is obviously important to understand and acknowledge because I've done it myself in the past when I first began my fitness journey, where, actually trying to lose fat when fixing skinny fat can actually, make you look more skinny, right? If that makes sense. In order to tackle this, I'm actually going to give you 3 steps in this video, right? So make sure you watch the full video to know all 3 steps. And without further ado, going over to the first step, obviously the first thing we've got to understand is we've got to build the base first, right? So you got to understand that in order to actually look good, look lean and muscular at a lower body fat percentage, then we actually need enough muscle mass on a frame in the first place to actually make that happen. That is very important first, because as I said, if you try and cut down when you don't have enough muscle mass on your frame, you can actually end up looking worse because again, you're lighter, you're losing body fat, but then you actually look skinnier because you haven't got the muscle mass on your frame, especially if you lose muscle mass in the process, right? And so, as I said, as it's very important to actually build the base first, I do actually have a recent video up here in terms of how you can actually fix skinny fat by, as I said, going through 2 phases of building muscle and really gaining strength first, which is what that video is more so about, whereas this video of course is more so actually losing the body fat more specifically, right? So once we've got that muscle mass to the point where we know that, we look at our physique, we may have a bit of stubborn fat, but we know that we've got some muscle definition, our pecs are booming a bit, we've got some peak in our biceps and shoulders. We know that obviously if we are at that stage, we know that we're probably going to look pretty good at a lower body fat percentage if we already know that we've got enough muscle mass on our frame by clearly looking at the progress photos and what we see in the mirror, right? So step 2 is obviously the cutting phase, right? Now obviously you gradually want to work down to a calorie deficit. I usually don't get clients going straight into a big calorie deficit. Usually it's reduce it by 200 a day. Then, after a few days, once their metabolism adapts, then 500. Because obviously, being in a calorie deficit, we want to consume less calories than we burn, right? The goal should be to lose about 1 to 1.5 pounds of fat per week. Obviously, it's better to take things slower so you can maximize, muscle mass retention, even build muscle mass if you do it right during the cutting phase. And basically, the macronutrients I usually recommend for clients is obviously protein. I like to say 0.9 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, because obviously we need enough protein to preserve muscle mass and even build muscle mass, because obviously it's the last thing you want to do in a cutting phase is lose the hard-earned muscle you've worked, right? And then fats, I like to keep fats lower towards 20 to 25%, because that way you can actually maximize the rest of your calories for carbohydrates. Now, of course, carbohydrates are your main source of energy, glucose, right? And so, of course, if you can maximize the amount of carbohydrates you're eating within the amount of calories you have, then obviously that's going to help with your daily energy and also your performance in your actual workouts, whether you're working at home or in the gym, so that again you can not only preserve muscle mass but even actually build muscle mass. Because as I said, for me, doing this with clients, following more so of these nutrition guidelines, is actually what's allowed clients to, despite actually being in a calorie deficit, has actually allowed them to build muscle to the point where they're getting leaner and more muscular, to the point where the actual body recomposition goal has actually got even better, right? And honestly, I'm not saying that you've got to follow these guidelines. If you work better on higher protein, lower protein, higher fats, lower fats, you want to tailor things to your needs, because that's what fitness is all about. It's a lifestyle to the point where you want to work based on what works best for you. I'm just giving those guidelines as usually that's what works best for clients. And if we do have to make any tweaks, it's very minor, to the point where we're still sticking to the principles of how to lose body fat effectively, keep the metabolism high, while still keeping and even building the muscle mass, depending on how experienced you are, right? Obviously for me, I haven't actually got as much muscle mass as we're talking right now, because I am overcoming an injury, which I've explained in previous videos, right? But besides the point, next step is obviously the training and recovery kind of things. Now this has to be prioritized even more when we are cutting body fat, because if you're in a calorie deficit, calories are energy. So if you're in a calorie restriction of cutting, you're also going to be in an energy restriction as well, which is why obviously you may feel that if you're eating less calories, you may feel less energy in a day and a bit more drained, right? And so obviously when it comes to the working out side of things, we still got to make sure we are actually training hard, because as I said, you don't want to do low load and high reps and that, because again, we still need to actually train in, you know, that strength and hypertrophy rep range to preserve the muscle and even build muscle mass, again, if you're more of a beginner or, you know, however you approach the cutting phase. So again, it's the same principles whether you're trying to build muscle or lose fat. Training is always pretty much the same. I would actually say that, again, the most important thing you want to consider is the recovery side of things, because obviously when you are in a calorie restriction, your body's going to be more catabolic, right? Your body's going to produce more cortisol, which is the human stress hormone, as opposed to testosterone, the human growth hormone, which you typically get more of when you eat more calories, you know what I'm saying? So obviously sleep-wise, we all know we should be getting around 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. But if you are in a calorie deficit, you really want to prioritize that to a higher extent. Maybe if you're eating more calories on other phases in that in the year, obviously you can kind of get away with it from time to time. But when you're in a calorie restriction, you got to be real disciplined with yourself, right? So again, you don't want to work so hard of building muscle and strength only to lose it if you then mess up the cutting phase, right? So really make sure you get your recovery in place with the sleep, stress management. I also wouldn't overdo cardio. I think a lot of people feel they got to do cardio because cardio burns fat. Cardio doesn't burn fat. Cardio burns calories, which can help you burn fat. It's a big difference, my friend. Big difference. So yes, you can still do cardio. I just wouldn't overexhaust it, because again, your body only has a limited recovery capacity, to the point where if you're in a calorie restriction, you've got an even greater limitation in your recovery capacity. So if you train normally but you do more cardio, you're requiring more recovery when you've actually got less ability to recover, which doesn't really make any sense, right? So again, learn from my mistakes so you can leverage it yourself to make, you know, the best progress possible. Like I said, the reason why man, I don't know what happened there. Even Alfie's looking like, what on earth are you doing, mate? What on earth is going on in your throat? Obviously, the reason why I emphasize these points is because, of course, as I've made the mistakes myself, I don't want you to make the mistake yourself, because it's freaking frustrating when, you know, you spend weeks and months, you know, putting in so much work only to then either lose some of the progress and feel like you're just spinning your wheels, right? I really want you to, you know, be able to lose the body fat you desire without getting skinny, because of course it's like, if you look the way you want to and have the body you want at a lower body fat percentage, it's like the physique is 24/7, right? It's like you're always going to feel confident in yourself, which is therefore going to lead over to all areas of your life, whether it's relationships, your performance at work, and your job and career, all that good stuff, right? Which is why, as I said, I'm just emphasizing it all, because I want you to ensure that you're doing it right. And so yeah, I believe that's everything covered. Of course, like, if you have enjoyed this video and you're looking for more guidance of how you can, you know, fix skinny fat yourself, be able to lose body fat without getting skinny right wherever you are in your body recomposition phase, obviously, you know, I do have my at-home calisthenics programs, which are built specifically for building muscle to transform the physique, your physique, as I said. And also, of course, I do actually have a new online coaching option where, of course, it is more self-managing with direct guidance, where you can still create an excellent transformation for yourself without as much one-on-one support that comes from working with me in such a one-on-one capacity, right? So if that is something you are interested in, you can actually check out the link in the description below, or I'll link up my website here for you to learn more. And of course, you can apply for the program, and I will then send you an email with all the details of, you know, how you want to move forward and the next steps of potentially working together. So yeah, I believe that's everything covered. As I said, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give this video a thumbs up so it helps me know which videos you like and want to see in the near future. And comment down below. What I'd love to know is what you found most helpful in this video. Like I said, for me, the best way I make videos for you to support you with your goals is knowing exactly what I'm doing well. Right, so like I said, if you comment below, I'd really appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel now, my friend, and turn on post notifications, because let's be honest, like, anyone who isn't on the Gains Train Express misses out on some serious damn gains. I don't want that to be you, my friend. I want you to get some gains. Again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support as always, and keep moving forward, and I'll see you in the next video.